Thank you. The Honourable John Ruddick.
Madam Acting President, it's on days like today that I'm especially grateful that I was not elected to this chamber as a member of a major party. I know the membership of the New South Wales Liberal Party, and I know that 80% of them agree with me and not with their parliamentary team on this question. My party, yes, thank you, yes. My party, the New South Wales Liberal Democrats, not only opposed the details of this bill, but we opposed the foundation of this bill. We campaigned in the March election as global boiling sceptics, and despite that being a minority opinion in this place, we are right. There are probably 200 factors that influence atmospheric temperature, and today we understand few of them. Now, the science will progress with time, but it is fanciful to think that there is one atmospheric temperature control switch called carbon dioxide, and that's what this bill is based on. They're saying 0.04% of the atmosphere controls everything. And most of the carbon dioxide is naturally made. Yes, industrialisation creates a bit, but we're saying that that little bit is going to change the temperature. This is the witch doctors of primitive times, that we can change the weather. Global boiling is a mass delusion. Mankind has been subject to many in the past. In 1841, Charles Mackay published a fabulous book entitled Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. Mackay detailed the history of how masses are susceptible to really believe, utter follies. He gave the example of witch burning, fortune-telling, science is very often involved, religious crusades, economic delusion, global... Now, excuse me, I heard you in silence, Miss Higginson. Global boiling is merely the latest chapter. The term global warming was coined in the 1950s by Roger Revelle of the Scripps Institute of Oceanography in California. The global warming debate today is politically contentious, but all sides agree Roger Revelle was a real, genuine scientist. Revelle spent 3 to 4 decades researching the question of whether man-made CO2 was imperiling the world. When Al Gore successfully tricked the world, much of it, into believing in global warming in 2006, Gore had a problem. The problem was that Gore had only studied politics and media. So Mr. Gore claimed in his book and movie that he was simply relying on the research of Roger Revelle. Gore tried to present to the world that he's very close to Roger Revelle. There's no photos of him as being associated with him. Apparently he did take one class with him. But before Roger Revelle died, he publicly and forcefully repudiated the apocalyptic claims of Al Gore. After many years of genuine scientific research, Revelle was more than doubtful that carbon dioxide was a factor in atmospheric temperature. He was right. Right now, North America, as we speak, North America has more snow in recorded history for November. Gore has tricked the world into believing that temperatures are rising, but we're 10 days away from summer and I'm still wearing Ugg boots at home. Al Gore predicted the polar ice caps would have disappeared a decade ago, but they are identical today to what they were 17 years ago. It is a fact, Ms Higginson. Al Gore predicted hurricanes would have increased. They have decreased. Bushfires in Australia are so natural that we have several plants that have evolved to only release their seeds in the heat of a bushfire. That's how natural they are. Al Gore predicted the ocean would rise 20 feet by now. When I asked one of the presenters at the Portfolio Committee 7 recently, I said, what's the evidence of global warming? And she said, well, the oceans are rising. I said, they're not, and she said that she would send the committee evidence. I appreciate that she did. Her data claimed the ocean had risen 2.3 centimetres in the last 123 years. Members, this planet has one ocean. In parts of that puddle of water, it's up to 11 kilometres in depth. It's going to move around a fraction. 2.3 centimetres is far short of Gore's prediction. It's basically a very stable ocean. We're told that the South Pacific Islands are disappearing. The Honourable Mark Latham was entirely correct. It is false. Global warming is more than a humorous delusion. It's the reason why this nation and most of the West has barely had any economic growth for 15 years. It, along with COVID, is why we are suffering inflation. We are embarking on ripping down a cheap and highly efficient energy supply that has powered our success and replacing it with an extremely expensive and highly dubious replacement, the renewables, which should be known as the unreliables. Global boiling is the dream of the central planners. It gives them an excuse to amass power over all of us. It makes them feel like the masterminds. It makes them feel good. They want it to be true. People in this chamber want global warming to be true, and we know that's true, because when we point out to them that it may not be true, they get very upset. Now, you would think if we were genuinely facing an apocalypse, people would be saying, well, that's very interesting, I'd like to learn about it. No, 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 no. They pretend that they want to believe it because it's the excuse to be a central planner. At the recent PC7 hearing, we heard from Mr. Ian Dunlop, a representative of the Club of Rome. I didn't even think the Club of Rome was a real thing. But Mr. Dunlop lived up to the worst things I had heard about the Club of Rome. Mr. Dunlop referred to, quote, a death spiral towards societal collapse, an existential threat to civilisation as we know it, and the final quote, he warned of the annihilation of intelligent life. These things were all imminent, according to him. Mr. Dunlop then found it offensive when I referred to him as a prophet of doom. That denial is reflective of how much deception is instinctively part of their mindset. You cannot say that we're facing an existential threat to civilisation and not accept the label that you're a prophet of doom. That's precisely what it is. This chamber had bipartisan support for COVID extremism, which we all now regret, but the persecuted few brave COVID sceptics were right and the political class was wrong. We're doing it again. Future generations will look back and laugh at today's global boiling delusion. The only question is how long it will take to wake up and how much damage will be done between now and then. Thank you.